Oh, ow. What the? Where am I? Is this Alliance War? Oh no. Oh, this is bad. I must have slipped through some type of time portal because I stopped uploading Alliance War videos a long time ago, and yet it appears this is an Alliance War video. It seems like I'm on path 4 now. Welcome back, my friends. This is indeed an Alliance War video, the first and only Alliance War video that I will be uploading for Season 9, because this is the first and only Alliance War video that I've recorded for Season 9, and that is because Alliance War, in its current state of the game, is kind of worthless. You actually get better rewards for not participating in Alliance War and just kind of, you know, showing up, taking your loss, and then saving all those resources and investing them in other things, and that is why I stopped uploading Alliance War content. However, this is a pretty cool Alliance War. We actually did try to get the victory here. I am going into this fight, this first fight here with Omega Red. It's against a Venom, and you're going to notice something pretty early on where I think I get a parry. It's on this next attack here, where I think I get a parry, but I don't. And I automatically just go into a 5-hit combo. Luckily, Venom had pulled back at that time since I was blocking to launch a heavy attack, and it ended up working out. So in traditional fashion here, I luck through this first fight instead of skilling through it, and you know what? I am alright with that. The other champions that I have with me are Saberman for synergies, and then Stark Spidey for the Darkhawk mini-boss that is up ahead, and this video also features boss action. This next fight is a science champion on the unblockable L1 and cornered node, and because of that cornered node, I was trying my best to not throw a heavy attack because I didn't want to put my damage over time degen on this torch here, and that would increase his power gain, although I probably should have just done it in hindsight because it only is a 100% power gain. Now you're going to see in just a moment Torch is going to throw his special one, and I thought only the initial part of it was unblockable, so I dash back the initial first hit, and then I just try to block the rest of it. Turns out that final hit is unblockable, and you will have to evade that. Going forward, I'll be much better at that in the future. I was flustered after that, which did get me hit by a heavy attack. Finally, I just say, you know what, screw it, the cornered isn't that bad. I throw my own heavy to stick those spores, throw my special 2, and boom, Torch goes down. So, not the cleanest of fights, but, you know, Torch is still relatively new, and next time I fight him, I will hopefully take some of the lessons learned here and do a better job at it. Next fight is the All or Nothing node. It's another science champion. Not quite sure who to expect. I didn't see anything in the profile, but hey, you never know. Could be hidden. Could be a thing on this node, which is relatively difficult to deal with. But Omega Red is great versus this All or Nothing node. You just gotta slow play it. Whoever you fight here, you gotta just play things slowly and rely on a combination of my spores along with the heavy attacks that will lock down the spores on the opponent to deal all of the damage. And, you know, barely attack, just try to attack slowly, try to stay in that close proximity to build up those spores, but not attacking too much to build the power too much. Now, this Spider-Gwen was pretty scary because the opponent appears to have maxed out Limber, which means my heavy attacks, the first attack, the first part of it, happens while the enemy is stunned, but the second, you know, the stun is already off, which means the enemy can evade and punish if they do evade. So I was a little bit worried about that, but, you know, fortunately it worked out where Spider-Gwen, she did not want to evade me there, and she does go down. Alright, we're rolling up to the Darkhawk mini-boss, who is still linked. This is essentially the end of the first night of war. The person that's going to be clearing this out, they've already gone to sleep, so wake up. Node is cleared for me, able to reboost up and go back in and finish out this war. Now, the way the timing of wars at the moment, and especially on this path, it's kind of rough for me. This is essentially like my first fight. Waking up. I don't think it had any impact on the performance for this war, but it does kind of limit the amount of practice time that I could have going into these fights where, yeah, I just didn't get a chance to do any type of practice duels or anything like that. It's just kind of going in cold. However, I am used to this fight, this Stark Spidey versus Darkhawk fight, as I have done this in some wars where we weren't trying and I was able to take this guy out without boosting. This fight, however, goes pretty poorly. You're going to see in just a moment here, you know, I'm just trying to build up some poise charges, and this is one of the things that I really can't stand about playing Stark Spidey. Other people seem to not have a problem with it. But me, when I try to dash back a couple times, boom, right there. I tried to dash back twice. I couldn't get the second dash back at the right time. And his regular attack, Darkhawk's just regular attack, had enough reach because Dark Spidey has that little bit of a shorter dash back distance where Darkhawk's attack connected. And because of that, I got stunned because that's part of what the node is. I took some degen damage because, again, that's one of the nodes on this mini-boss, and I'm dead. Now, I got to go back in here with Dark Spidey because Darkhawk is a robot champion, and Omega Red just will not deal practically any damage to this guy because he is a robot. The spores, they just don't stack up quickly enough. I can't apply any type of degen because this guy is fully debuff immune, so pop a revive, feed those potions to Stark Spidey, and we're going back in, and hopefully this time I can take this dude down. Now, ideally, I would have preferred to bring in one of my Cosmic Champions, either Hyperion or Medusa. He's debuff immune, so they're going to be a little bit gimped either way, but I don't think it would have mattered. I would have preferred to take in Medusa over anyone. The safety that Medusa has it's great versus a node like this where you have a chance to be stunned if you make a mistake, and Medusa's auto block will save you from that stun and just kind of bring the fight back around. So yeah, I would have preferred to bring Medusa in, but both Medusa and Hyperion, they're busy in AQ. Now here I mess up. I make a miscalculation thinking that my special 2 would kill him. It does not, and it puts him in the shielding phase. And he goes ahead and pops the special 1 as I'm kind of just waiting for that phase to be over. And recoil saves me. This opponent was running suicides. The recoil ends up killing him. Otherwise, I don't know how that fight would have turned out. I might have still been able to win. I might not have. I don't know. Either way, we're moving on. This is a Plagued Mine, Vigor, and Cornered node, and it turns out to be Thing. And this is a pretty tough fight, really. You got to deal enough damage to this guy so that he's not triggering those healings. The way it works is that every 25%, if you can take him down to a basically 75, 50, or 25% threshold before the timing on the heal goes off, the timer resets and the opponent does not heal. So you have to keep up a high amount of damage in order to prevent that healing from happening, or have some other way to prevent the healing. And in my case, I don't really have a way to prevent that healing other than just dealing a lot of damage. And you're going to see here now that Death Field is off. Now that Death Field is off, and I'm not dealing that extra damage from having Death Field up, and I'm not stacking the spores above 10. My damage is not that good, and he's going to start to heal. And at this point, I also have to try my best to play around those rock stacks, or whatever they're actually called for Thing here, and had to attack into his block a little bit. It's kind of rough to find the openings that you need to finish this guy off. So this fight does get extended by quite a bit. It is a cornered node, so I was trying not to use my heavy attacks, but finally I realized, I just have to use the heavy attacks. I probably should have started with a heavy attack right at the start of the fight and just said, screw the cornered node. I'm just going to deal with it, and honestly, evading the special 2 from Thing is a little bit better than the special 1 anyway, especially when using Omega Red, because you can stay in that close proximity that you want to stay in a little bit easier, in my opinion, against the special 2. But in any case, I do end up finishing off the fight there. Did take a little bit of damage, though, so I'm going to pop a few potions going into this next fight. I'm not sure who this next fight's going to be. I was thinking it might be a Void, perhaps, because I've seen Void on this node before. But I'm not running Scouter Lens, so don't even have any way of checking. Doesn't really matter, regardless. I was going to be using Omega Red anyway. It is a bleed node. This is the only bleed immune champion I have with me, and honestly, Omega Red is fantastic against this node anyway, just because as I'm bleeding, the death field is going to constantly be active. Now, I play this fight a little bit differently. Normally I kind of slow play fights with Omega Red, where I attack very slowly. My combos, just my regular attacks are slow, but I want to get my special ability up before the Aftershock trigger, just in case it would have stunned me. Even though, there's a low number of Aftershocks, there's still that chance. There's still that chance that you're going to get stunned. So if you time your specials right as the timer of that Aftershock goes, you cannot be stunned. You'll still take the damage from the Aftershock, but, the stun is the scary part. So I was a little bit more aggressive there than I normally am, and it works out. I was able to get those specials off when I needed to. All right, pulling up to the next mini boss here, which is a Thor Fraggle Rock, and this fight I was not worried about in the slightest. You know, normally there's a bit more communication about, okay, you know, once the minis are open, who's going to be taking this mini and stuff like that. It didn't even bother. I knew I was going to roll right over this guy with Omega Red, and I do just that. Omega Red, when you have class advantage, I mean, it helps that this guy's running suicides too, but even if he wasn't, it would have been an easy fight. If you could just get up, you know, a heavy attack off, this dude is he's just going to be melting. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it. Another few hits, just, you know, being cautious of getting him to that 20 hit mark, but as soon as he does get to 20 hits, he dies anyway, so I don't need to bait out any specials or anything like that. And Fraggle Rock is down. Alright, now this next fight I am a little bit more concerned with. This fight I did kind of, you know, I definitely did make sure to communicate beforehand, see who was going to be taking this fight. And yeah, it turns out that I had one of the better options for it, so I'm going to be going in here with Omega Red. I did pop an invulnerability boost that I kind of edited out of this thing here, but I do have that invulnerability boost active, which you're going to see being triggered early on to this fight. This is not the cleanest of Omega Red versus Thing fights. Omega Red is definitely capable of soloing this thing here, but you know, I'm trying my best to play around that 15 stack mark. I'm not really too concerned with the amount of damage I'm dealing. I don't think that the clock is going to have a big play in this fight. I just need to survive and keep my spore count relatively high in order to deal the damage that I need to. Take a bunch of hits there in the corner. Things get ugly, and I make another mistake here. I should have popped a heavy attack right after he popped his special 2. That delay, and now me just kind of trying to, you know, think about the rock stacks that he has, and trying to keep him, you know, at 15 whenever he's going to launch a special. You know, that prevented me from doing the correct move here and popping a special 2. So now I'm sitting on a special 3, not sure what I should do about it, if I should pop it, if I should just, you know, keep my spore count high. You know, because the special 3, of course, is going to remove the rock stacks. Eventually I say, you know what, I'm too far pushed back in this corner. I need to get this thing moved over to the right side of the map. So I do go ahead and pop my special 3. And at this point, you know, he has 50% health. I'm, you know, the timer is at 50% basically, with a minute and a half left. Starting to be a little bit concerned about the time left in this fight, but I'm thinking, all right, you know what? If I just get to my special 2, I can have enough time here. Get a special 2, get the spore count a little bit higher up. Make sure to get some heavy attacks off to keep the spore count there and get that extra damage going. I know that my special 2 is 7 hits to it, just from past experience here. So I just want to make sure that I can cleanly get off this special 2 at an appropriate time where I'm not going to push the stacks too high. Here, you know, I have him at 12 hits. I wanted to get that heavy attack off, though. I need to hit him one more time here to get him to 15. Luckily, he's kind of playing ball with me here where it's working out. But boom, there goes all of my spores at the end here, where I just need him to throw this special 2. He kind of delays things on me a little bit there, but that's alright. He finally throws it. It got 30 seconds left. I still think that I can finish out this fight. I just have to play it a little bit more aggressively here in order to finish him off. I'm saving my special 2 for a killing blow type of situation at this point, because the initial part of the special 2 kind of pushes him back, where I didn't think I was going to keep those spores on him. I'm just hoping that I can deal enough damage here. The clock is ticking, 5 seconds left. He throws his special, I throw my special, and Thing survives. He survives with 4% health, something that really should not have happened. I did more damage in the wars that we didn't care about, and I was unboosted. I did more damage in the same amount of time here. This was just, a mistake how I played it. Early on, just losing all of that damage early on, where I was taking those hits, being pushed back in the corner, not throwing my heavy attack frequently enough, and then, getting to a special 3 instead of using my special 2 to keep that death field going. All of those things added up to not being able to solo this guy. Uh, next time, hopefully I can do a better job of this fight. It's still a fight that I don't have a ton of experience in, but as a result, we ended up not winning this war. So good war to you guys over in ASR. Hopefully we can get a nice rematch going once war actually matters again. But as for now, that is going to do it for this war and this season. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care.